Okay, awesome. Hey everybody, welcome to our January Tech Bite, our first Tech Bite of the year of 2025. Uh, yeah, as you know, I'm Joe Rumpel. I'm excited. I have several topics for the beginning of this year, and CPX is coming, so I'm hoping to have a few more. So I got a few good ones to start off with, and we're going to kick off with a real banger, I think. Endpoint DLP, right? So to be straight and honest, as long as I've been here, customers have been asking me if we have an endpoint data loss prevention technology. And for 6-ish years, I had to say no, we do not. However, pretty recently released in the last 6 months or so, towards the end of 2024, there was our DLP feature in our endpoint, and it's present in both our Harmony endpoint and our Harmony browse technologies. I'm using the endpoint for our demo today, but the browse one will look practically identical, and it will perform pretty much identically as well. So, without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and get us started. So, let's get this out of here. Hide these meeting controls. Cool. So here we are. As you can see, I'm here on the Infinity portal. I have my endpoint, my Harmony endpoint environment that I'm working on, right? And what you'll see is here in the policy, I have started the data loss prevention. So what is data loss prevention? What can it do? Data loss prevention can help us to comply with any standards we need to meet, things like PCI, HIPAA, ISO 27001, what have you, where we have to control data that's being sent out. Um, it can be done also to kind of just control your own environment and watch your own proprietary stuff without necessarily having a compliance standard to conform to. So let's take a quick look before we get too far. Here's our rules. And we can make multiple rules that apply to multiple different entities in the organization, just like we do with our rules otherwise in Harmony Endpoint. We have our baked in DLP data types, and it's a pretty significant list. I mean, you see it's long. And most of the things that we tend to think about as DLP, you'll find in here. So for example, just to search one or two of them, uh, let's try HIPAA. If we type in HIPAA, as you can see, a bunch of different HIPAA standards and substandards come up, right? Which is really cool. If we type in social, let's just type social security number. Type in social, you'll see that social security numbers for many nations, including different forms of the US ones, are available here as well off the bat. Now, the other thing you can obviously do, you'll see that those are the predefined data types, but we can also make our own, right? So for example, Checkpoint has a recommendation of certain things that we can have there. And then also we can do our custom data types, which I can go ahead and make one, right? So let's make a new data type, give it a name. How about like a company employee ID numbers, right? You don't want that getting out. Make a little description. This is our internal numbering system. And then you can choose how the data will get recognized. Pattern is usually the most common one, right? You think of like social security numbers, they're 7 digits, or sorry, they're 9 digits, right? Uh, it'll look for the pattern that you build in. You could also choose a keyword, right? So this one's really good for like files, right? Let's say that you put in your files right at the top a special word that you don't want the file to be sent out. You put that keyword in it, boom, the DLP pick up on it. You can define a list of words, and you want certain words going out. Sir, you could do weighted words, which allows you to kind of build a risk profile of a thing. File attributes as well. So you could block for certain file names, certain file sizes, certain file types, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of different ones, right? And once we choose one, we get to go ahead and list our patterns. So let's just say that, our pattern is something like this for our employee ID numbers, right? So we'll go ahead and put that. And then you have to figure out how many matches of when the DLP will trigger, right? If you're okay with one employee ID number being sent out, you could leave it as two, right? So that if one goes out, it'll go, no problem. But if there are two in the document or whatever, then it will not let it go, right? So I'll just go ahead and finish that. We've got our new data type, right? Um, so let's go ahead and go back out. Yes, please save the changes. Always got to save your changes. So as you see at the bottom here, we have our policy rules, and we have three types, right? The inbound, or the outbound events, which is what we're going to see a lot of today. Inbound events. So if someone has a type of something that violates your DLP policy that they're trying to download from somewhere, we can also prevent that. And then our Gen AI Protect. So the Gen AI Protect, you're going to see a good amount of our demo here. And it reminds me to go shake my demo machine to make sure it doesn't go to sleep. Cool. Much of what we're going to see here in the demo is related to Gen AI. A big risk these days, or something that's concerning, is people are using Gen AI chats like a Copilot from Microsoft, like ChatGPT, like other ones to upload proprietary code is a big one. Also, perhaps add, proprietary information that you don't want people seeing. So what we can do is enable the Gen AI Protect, and it will go ahead and give you uh, rules you can make against AIs, right? So let's go ahead and make a new rule. And you see I have a few in there already. We make a new rule by adding one. What type of event will it be? Will it be a file upload, a text control, so we can't put text into certain boxes, or a paste action? We cannot paste violating information, right? So let's go ahead and just for fun, we'll do a paste one. The category here is AIs because we have that's what's pasting into. And we can do a couple different actions. We can prevent, we can detect it, so that allows it and logs it. We can allow it, and we'll just allow it. A lot, it works if you have a rule below it that says, hey, do something else with other things or other people. Or we could block, right, which just kills it in the first place. And then we got to add our data types, right? So we can add. We saw HIPAA before, so we could add HIPAA, for example. We got to search in the search box. HIPAA. Come on. There it is. Got to open the predefined ones. So you could choose HIPAA if you wanted, right? Another thing we could do is we could search out that employee ID numbers that we made, right? So that was in, no, that's not it. Maybe that is it. And then you just go ahead and save what you're going to save, and it'll make a new rule at the bottom, right? You'll see I have a few of them here that are already created, so we're going to go see those in just a second. Before we jump to our endpoint and see what it looks like on the client side, any questions? I'm checking the chat. Nothing yet. I don't see any hands raised, which is cool. Okay, so let's continue on. So I have here in my lab. Come back. I have here in my lab a Windows machine that I'm having a hard time drawing up. There we go. So I have here a Windows machine. It's running that Checkpoint endpoint client. You'll see in the browser, and this is the key piece, that it's got the uh, the browser plugin that comes with the endpoint. Because that's the guy that's really going to be doing the enforcing here. So I don't know if you caught it, but in my rules, one of the first rule I had was don't allow to upload to file sharing sites PCI data. And here I have Google Drive, right? So pop that back open. So here I have a text file, which has a Visa credit card number. And I looked these numbers up on Google to find test numbers for DLP. If anybody wants me to try their credit card, feel free to send it to me along with the expiration date and the little CVV code. Okay. So we see this file has our credit card number in it, right? If we go ahead and try to drag it into the Google Drive, thanks for a second, the upload is blocked, and it was blocked by Checkpoint. And if we go ahead and click on the little browser plugin, it shows you right here, your upload has been blocked in accordance with your company policy. Okay, interesting. So another one we could do is I have a file that is not a credit card, and I actually punched out 16 digits in here, right? Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, on and on, 16 digits. This one, though, is not a credit card number. So let's see if this one will drag right in. Go ahead. This upload will start shortly. It was not a credit card number, so it didn't violate DLP. And as you see, if we go in here, that upload is complete to Google Drive, right? Cool. So now let's go back to home. Okay. So we can also do folders, right? So I have prepared, with the desktop real quick. I prepared two folders, right? The first one, whatever, has a shortcut to Chrome in it, and that's it. There's no PCI information here, right? This one has two documents in it. It's that Visa one I tried to upload and it failed because it was a credit card number, and also that document that's not a credit card number. So let's see what we can do. So first things first, let's try to go ahead and upload a folder. The first one will be that folder with no DLP. So again, that was just the Google Chrome shortcut. Go ahead, it starts right up, and Google's doing my upload. It has completed. And as we can see, go away, please. Oh, it's in my, where is it? There it is, test folder, no DLP, right? Okay. Next one, we will upload the folder. Let's do it in here. This way I can track it easier. We will upload the folder that had the DLP. So test folder with the DLP, we click it, we upload it, go ahead. Some of our uploads were blocked. Click on the agent to see more. So here's the two I sent, right? The one that was not a CC, that's going to upload. But the one that had the Visa info in it, it was blocked. So now moving over to here, this was completed. There's the folder, test folder DLP. And if we open it, only the one file came over, not both. Pretty cool, huh? So that's how it works with the sharing sites. You could do this with a variety of different categories of site as well. And since I blocked it by category, it'll block us from Dropbox, from Drive, from well, whatever things you're accessing through a browser. Okay, so the other part I did is let's just pop that rule back open so you can see it super quick. Come back to me. There it is. I made two rules about AI chats. First being text control, right? It's PCI data, so you cannot manually input a credit card number into a chat AI. The other one is paste. You cannot paste a PCI, credit card number into a chat. So let's see it, right? So I happen to have the Copilot open right here from Microsoft. So first, let's try to type in a credit card number. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Send it. Thinks for a second, and then it says it cannot send that text, right? This action is blocked. It does not comply with corporate policy, right? Very good. Now, the other thing we did, let's get this out of here, is we disallowed pasting into the chat the AIs. So let's copy this Amex number I have, right? We'll have a different number. Been using the Visa one a little too much. I go to paste that one. It thinks the paste is blocked. According to the organization, you're not allowed to paste this data here. So as you can see, it's got another record here, right? Cool. So our other friend, ChatGPT, should be able to just try to paste, and the paste is blocked. And again, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We try to manually enter that Visa card. The text is blocked. So that's basically my endpoint side of the house with DLP. I do have one more thing to show you before we close. Any questions on that part so far? I'm looking in the chat. I don't see anything there. I don't see any hands raised. Cool. So lastly, right, we did some stuff. We violated the DLP policy a few times. Everybody had a lot of fun. So what can we do with that, right? How are we going to learn about that? So the first thing is right here in the logs, we can see once they load DLP logs. And you see them by this blade, this little DLP leakage looking blade, right? There's some that are informational, some that are high. Let's just pick the top one, which should be the last thing I did. As you can see, there was a browser-based DLP incident, right? And you can see the source and which machine, etc. And you can see that the data type I violated was PCI, and the description is I tried to upload that visa.txt, which was blocked. Okay. And a little bit more data about my machine. So that's very cool. And you see there's many different logs here of all the things I've been playing with as we've been doing this. Now, the other cool thing you could do, which is helpful, I think, all of us, when we sign to Harmony Endpoint, we arrive at this dashboard. We have a few of these widgets already built for DLP. I'm just going to make a custom one so that you can see the specific ones, but you can change that one we usually land on and add it to that, tweak it a little bit so you have the best of both worlds. So let's add a widget, type right in here, DLP. We got 3 different ones. We're going to add this first one, which shows us how many files were scanned by DLP, right? Very cool. Then we're going to add the other one, the events by data type. Okay. And then the last one, the top 5 endpoints who had these events. And I like my data to be like this rather than up and down. So there's our dashboard, which is cool, right? And we could even save it, right? You can actually make it, we have public and private. So private means that it's just for you. Public is it can be used by any of the other admins in your tenant, right? It's not public to the whole world. It's public to your co-administrators. Now what's cool is again, like for example, we come in here, we see this widget. Oh, there was PCI stuff that happened, right? Let's take a look. And if we click on the widget, it should start to bring us to the data. It might take a second. Let's try it again. Let's try this one. There we go. Okay. So when we click it, it will bring us to the DLP logs related to that one. I actually didn't show you in the endpoint side, but I made a DLP data type called bananas, and bananas was the word. And as you can see, we have a couple of DLP events related to our bananas DLP data type. So that's pretty cool. And we can see that right from our dashboard and go right to it. 1, 2, 3. Here's that PCI stuff we were violating today. Right. Okay, so that's my demo. I really appreciate everybody coming. I'll ask one more time, are there any questions? And I'm going to look in the chat and see if any hands are raised. Oh, I got one. Okay, so how does this work? How's the licensing work with Endpoint? Okay, so how does the licensing work? Excellent question. So again, I did mention in the beginning, there's Harmony Endpoint has this DLP, which is what you're seeing now. Harmony Browse has the same DLP feature, right? For the browse, there's a special license package, like the version of the license. For the endpoint, it is an add-on. So whatever package of endpoint you have today, whether it be the FDE data protection one, the basic antivirus, the complete, whichever one it is, DLP is an add-on license, which can be added per user as needed. Good question. Any other questions? Let's see. Nothing yet. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to hang for another 2, 3 minutes. If anybody has any questions, you can certainly ask them. If you come up with one later, which is what always happens to me, feel free to email me. And I really appreciate everybody coming out and hopping on and seeing the DLP. I hope that this was informative and interesting. And I know I had ended last year with a couple of slide deck ones, which I don't really like doing, or don't like doing many of them in a row at least. So I have this demo. This one of my next ones will be a pretty good one as well, which will also be a demo. So I'm planning a few good ones for you to start the year out. Anyway, thank you so much for coming. Feel free to drop me any questions here or shoot me an email or whatever. I hope you have a great day, and thanks so much.